Hello and welcome to Show Up, Stand Out, online visibility series for entrepreneurs. My name is Julia Stapleton and I'm a visibility strategist. And I am so delighted today to introduce you to Michala Leyland. Hi, Michala.
Hey,
And we're going to talk about online visibility and what effects being visible online can have on us, how to overcome that. But before we go into the meat of it, I want Michala to talk a little bit about herself and tell you guys who she is, what her background is, and why are we here talking about online visibility.
Oh, thank you very much, Juliet. Well, I'm an author, a trainer and a coach, and I predominantly work with women, mainly to help them to overcome overwhelm, because you know that feeling when you can't see the wood for the trees. You are in a situation where, you're quite a high achieving person, you've got lots going on, you're juggling just about everything. I'm a big believer in sodding the shoulds. Because again, we have so many shoulds with all these different roles that we have, and we need to gain clarity on what that means for us as women, and then we can feel more successful. Because a lot of the clients that I have who come to me, despite having really, quite high prestigious jobs, don't feel successful at all. And I think it's a real epidemic, and I actually want to, again, because it happened to me, because I had 2 burnouts myself, because I don't want those women to be sitting at their kitchen tables or at their boardroom tables with their head in their hands, feeling like they can't get out of it, because they absolutely can. And actually, if it's happening to them, it's a real opportunity. It's a real opportunity to reevaluate, reassess, and find out, actually, what am I doing and why? So that's what I love doing. I love working with women one-to-one in my group program, through the work that I do in speeches, presentations, and I'm on a real mission to help women to do that.
And what is your story? How did you come to do that? How did you come to work with this?
So my burnout was when I was in my late 20s, and I'd become a teacher. It's what I'd wanted to do since I was 5. I went into the education sector, and actually at the time, it wasn't the education sector. I mean, I still think it is an environment where burnout is prevalent. But I also think that as a young woman, I'd not got any boundaries around myself. I hadn't, I didn't feel good about myself no matter what I did. I mean, I got second in department in my very first job after a year, but still thought I was doing a terrible job. So I actually hadn't learned how to be very well at that stage. Later, when I left teaching, I went into the charity sector after my burnout. Again, my burnout was an opportunity to move for me, really, because, again, I felt it was a failure to leave this job, this huge, job that that's all I'd worked for. I'd gone to university. Nobody else in my family had really gone to university, my immediate family before. So it felt like a real failure to leave. But actually, it was, a massive relief to my family and friends. My husband now calls it the zombie years, because I was like a zombie. I was just working every hour God sent to basically, because I just believed that was the only way to do it. And then again, I went into the charity sector, and I actually loved my work in the charity sector for at least 10 years. But then I had to merge my charity that I was the managing director of at the time into a bigger organisation. And as I did that, again, I just wasn't using my skills. I wasn't using my teaching, my love, my training. It was all about the audits. It was all about the number crunching. It was all about making sure people were on target. And I wasn't being me. I wasn't able to be me. And actually, I could feel a burnout coming. So actually, I say I had 2 burnouts. I didn't. I sideswiped the second one because I actually created an exit plan, left, and then set up Wood for the Trees life coaching so that I could help other women understand that actually you don't have to do this to yourself. It isn't a cycle you can't get out of. You absolutely can. And there are ways of managing this, and the tools and the strategies and the personal development journey that I went on. I love passing that information on to other people because I'm just so passionate about it, and particularly for women, because I think we carry the mental load a lot of the time in our families, whether it be as a mother or a daughter who ends up being a carer, or, loads of different scenarios. And don't get me wrong, again, I don't think men don't have a mental load of their own. I do. I think they have their own pressures, but someone else can work with them.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. They're actually, it's true. Yes, they have their own pressures, but very often they're just, the way they deal with things and the way
Yeah.
women deal with things is different.
Just different.
That's the truth, you know, and we are a little bit more complex as creatures. I think all female creatures are more complex, and that makes us suffer too, you know, that makes us put too much pressure on ourselves too. And for me as a visibility strategist and someone who is actually naturally I was always sort of prone to be visible in whatever I'm doing, but when you're doing it online, there is just so many little things that, whether you are at the start of your journey and every time you progress, you know, there's more things that are coming on, and instead of sort of slowing down and saying to yourself, look where I've come in this couple of months or in this year, you're sort of saying, oh my God, I'm not still there. I'm, you know, and you're just really or you're saying, oh my God, I'm not doing it often enough. I'm not visible enough. And everybody's saying, you are dominating my news feed on Facebook or something. And you're like, oh, but I'm so lazy. I'm procrastinating. And, you know, you can't chatter.
I did a blog on my website actually 2 years ago when I won Online Biz Mum of the Year for the first time. Because I won the award, and then someone came over to me and said, oh, can you tag me on Facebook? And I just went into complete imposter syndrome because I didn't know how to tag her on Facebook, but I just won Online Biz Mum of the Year. But the reason that I won it was because I only started my Facebook page in 2015. I only went on Facebook in 2015 properly. And therefore, the amount that I'd learned in 9 months and how I'd got 2,000 followers already on Periscope, and how I'd already started to, you know, create relationships on Twitter, that was why I won. Not because I know everything about social media and being online. But again, I didn't recognize that in that little moment. I was just beating myself with you still don't know enough about, you know, and so it is all at different stages, whatever level that you're at. I absolutely agree with that, Juliet. And that's one of the things, you know, I love helping women see how marvelous they are and actually credit themselves with a lot more than they do.
Yeah, that's true. That is the ultimate thing that you really want to be in that place, don't you? So we're trying to give you a few pointers how to do that. So how do you overcome feeling of overwhelm when you're using, like, let's say about being visible? What's a few tips, maybe a practical advice that you could give our listeners?
Okay. I think that one of the first things is understand why you're doing it. So again, it's that, what am I doing it for? And I'll come to that a little bit more sort of later on, I think, when we're talking. But if you know why you are doing it, then you can plan accordingly. Again, I'll give you a little story. When I started out on Periscope, I can't even remember how I ended up downloading the Periscope app. But I did. And I actually remember watching people, and people were doing it in their pajamas. There were people who were watching people sleep. It was just bonkers. I was like, what is this? What's going on? You know? And bear in mind that I'd only just started on Facebook in that January. So this was sort of around the April, May time. Downloaded the app. And then absolutely, as soon as I went on, and I did it with no makeup on and in my dressing gown in the back garden, just sort of like a hello scope, because I actually wanted to get over the fear of not feeling like I had to be done up and look great every single time I was on. Now, again, I take a very different approach to it now, but just to get over the ultimate fear of someone seeing me with no makeup and a bit, you know, looking a bit disheveled, I did what scared me the most, which was go live looking like that the very first time. So that was the first thing. Whatever you're scared of the most in doing it, do it. You know, if it's going on without any planned notes, just go on and have a chat. If it's, you know, not being made up, go on and do it. And it will just take away the fear, because actually nothing bad happens. And actually, I think 2 people were watching. So
it's so true. Yeah, I live by this. You know, if you're afraid something, that's just life telling you need to go and do it. It's actually, the more resistance you feel, the closer you are to this goodness behind that. And maybe sometimes it's not goodness, but then you know, and it's still not a fear. You just know it's not your fear.
And then for me, it was like 700 odd scopes later, joining Perry 10K, helping another group that was quite a big group get moving. I was part of a body positivity movement for a while. You know, I got really involved in Women of Worth, loads of really great groups with amazing women. And what happened then was I made these amazing connections all over the world, which have really helped my business. And, you know, I've got clients from it, etc., etc. So from that little tiny fear, I basically just leapfrogged over it and said, no, I'm going to do it anyway in the worst possible scenario. And then everything else is going to be okay after that. So then I can put my makeup on. I can appear how I want to appear. And again, that's part of it for me, is be confident. You know, if dressing and wearing makeup and looking good makes you feel good, do that. Don't feel, you know, that, prepare for it in that way if you want to. Plan your content. Again, I think this is really important when you know why you're doing it, because that's the other thing I'd say. I did get a little bit overwhelmed. I was literally in about 4 different communities, helping them all, being leader in loads of them. And then it's like, oh my God, you know, my kids need their tea and I'm running backwards and forwards trying to make sure that people are on time on these things. It just, you know, again, I sort of got myself, it ran away with itself. So again, I just pulled back, and it's a constant question to ask yourself, what am I doing and why? And so again, with the content creation side of it, I really put myself in the shoes of the customer and say, and this is what I help, again, when I've been helping ladies who have been overwhelmed and helping them to go live. It's about that. It's about looking at their content and saying, okay, well, what is it that you would like? Or what is it that your clients and customers need from you? And what is it in your messaging that you want to get out there, and create all of your content around that? And that just takes the overwhelm out of it, because then you just know that you're speaking to the right people, you know that you're attracting the right people, you know that your message is going to be clear. And you know what, even sometimes when it's not clear, what happens is, as you keep going visible and as you keep doing these lives, your message becomes clearer and clearer. It absolutely helped me get more clarity around what Wood for the Trees is about and what it's going to be as it moves forward. Because every time I would deliver a message or deliver some value or some content, what would happen then was it would make me think about what I was actually trying to give to my customer and what would help them. So I think the planning and the confidence is really important. And then I'll just give you a little 3P tip, because this is a really good little technique to use. If you're not really feeling it, because again, I think sometimes it's like that whole thing of, oh, you know, today you might wake up and not feel very live streamy. You know, you're not really feeling the whole let's get on camera and show up thing. Again, what I tend to do, and I do this with lots of different ways with my clients, but it's one of the techniques that I use. So you start with your purpose. So get clear on your purpose. Why do you want to go live today? What is it that you will go, you know, if you've scheduled it in, but you woke up feeling a bit, you know, maybe you've had your kids up all night, or your cat's been hitting you in the head all night, whatever it might be, you know, what was your purpose? Why were you going to go live? Then you need to get your posture right. So again, this is where it's either just a question of, it might just be sitting up, getting yourself feeling in the moment, you know, get your state right physically. If that's not enough, dance. I mean, I've done it before where I've danced around my kitchen for 5 minutes, got my energy, woo, and then sit down, press, and off we go. And then the last one is get present. So your last P is present. So before you go live, think, how am I feeling, right? Why am I here? I'm here because that lady out there is sat at her table. She does not know what to do next. She's scared. She can't see how brilliant she is, and she can't go see the wood for the trees. And when I pop up on that live stream talking about something that's going to help her, I'm going to help that one person who's sitting there. I'm going to help her feel better about her day. I'm going to help her move herself forward. And so that's how I would get into the space to go live, even when I'm not feeling like it.
So basically, just to summarize in one phrase, it's not about you, it's about your customers. So the whole visibility, and that takes pressure off you in a way, because for us it's so much easier to help than to feel like, or you know, to feel like you have to be perfect, which I hate this whole perfectionist thing, because done is better than perfect. And you know, you can, and this isn't also, social media is social media. What is there today, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow will already be buried under so much other content. So if you made a little mistake or something, or you forgot what you were saying, or you went on a rant, that's okay, absolutely okay, because you know, it's, even though it's still there, you can remove it later if you completely. But really, at the end of the day, it's all about who listened to it and what transformation or what small little help, even small transition that they could make with your help, right?
I agree. And you know, and again, if you don't feel comfortable going live, I mean, every Monday I do my Monday Minute Coach. Now, if I fail, a couple of times I've failed to schedule them on a Monday or do them on a Monday, because quite often I'll block video those, on a day when I'm really up for it. I get myself all dressed ready. I've got 75 scarves, so it looks like I'm doing different days, but I'm not really.
Yes. Know the scarf trick, yes.
Yeah. And so I'll block video, 10 of those, so they've got one going out each week for the next 10 weeks. And if I don't do it, I get personal messages. Where's your Monday Minute?
Brilliant.
If you're thinking, oh my God, there's crickets, nobody's fault, not true. There are people sat there waiting for your content. And particularly if you schedule something on a regular basis, you will be surprised how many people are waiting for it and wondering what happens when you stop doing it.
That's true.
And what really brings home to you is, again, it's not about you, it's about them. It's not about you, it's about them. So, really think about that when you're looking at that overwhelming feeling of, oh God, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? Actually get out of your own skin. If you've gone into business, you're doing it because you want to solve a problem for somebody or enhance somebody's life. Those are usually the two reasons, or a combination of both. Focus on that, okay? What is this visibility stuff about? It's about enhancing people's lives or solving a problem for them or helping them solve their problems. In my case, I don't solve people's problems. They solve their own problems, but I help them to do it. So it's about them, you thinking about that person there and not about yourself. And it just takes the pressure off you completely.
And that's a brilliant position to start your videos as well, and start your live streaming, because you actually don't feel pressurized. How do you measure the success of being visible? How do you approach that?
I think, again, I think each person should look at that on an individual level. Now, again, you can get into analytics and and that can be overwhelming. If you're someone who's really not very techie like me, going into the back end of Facebook and looking at when people are watching and all that sort of thing can feel a little bit overwhelming. Again, I would say sod the shoulds. Find a way that works for you. So for me, I go once a week and I just look at when I've timed things or things, and I've thought, okay, that got good reach, that didn't get good reach, that seemed to engage people, that didn't. I try to be constructively critical about it. And so just once a week for me, I do that. Otherwise, the other way of doing it is get somebody else to do it for you. There are millions of social media managers out there and millions of Facebook ad strategists who can help you to do that, and you don't have to do it. So if you can invest in that, absolutely, just give it out to somebody else, delegate it, and let them give you the information back. And if they say, all right, actually, your Monday Minute coach is getting a really good reach, carry on doing it. If it's nobody's seeing it and no one's interested and you're not getting the personal messages when you don't do it, well, then that's something to drop and you can do something different. And, a lot of this stuff is trial and error and testing, and it absolutely isn't about perfection. And which is what I love that you said that. And also, it's about, looking at what success is for you. So again, certain things that you're doing may just be to generate know, like, and trust. There may be measures that you can take. If you put something out there with a call to action to actually buy, you know what your measurements are, because they're buying or they're not buying. So It's really simple. Again, we can complicate this. We can make it really, really complex. Or actually, we can do what I try and do, because I'm a simple girl, is that we just try and keep it as simple as possible. So once a week, I look at what the stats are saying. And again, I sort of work according to that. And, again, there's people that you can work with. We know people who, if you feel like video is something you really want to go for, then you can work on your video funnels and all sorts of things. But again, for some people, when they start thinking about that, it all feels too overwhelming. So it's about having a strategy. And I think that's the other thing for me. When I very first started with the live streaming, I had no strategy. I was just having a ball. It was a whole new world. I just found it really exciting, super fun, and I didn't really get very strategic. Now, I've got a 90-day plan. I'm quite clear on when I'm going to do my live streams. I'm quite clear on what I'm going to look at when I'm doing them. And I'm quite clear of which communities, I enjoy working with and that have good collaborations with, and the rest have gone. I don't do anything with the others anymore. So I think, again, it's just measure your success your way. but make sure you are doing some measuring. I would say that it is important to measure it, because whether it's, as I say, the awareness raising and the awareness building and building that know, like, and trust, or whether it's actual physical sales, it is important to know, what is going on with it. Otherwise, you'll be putting a lot of energy and effort into something and you don't even know.
That is so true. And right now, with 2018, Facebook is changing completely what they're focusing on. So in a way, that's the only way you can know what will work and what won't work. Because right now, nobody knows. There will be updates rolling out every week, every month, every something, and it can change everything that you're doing. So you can't be set in your ways. And that's the best way anyway, because people connect to you in different ways anyway. So let's say if some people connect to me because I'm doing certain things, and that is very successful to me, but it might not work exactly for another person, even if they're doing exactly the same thing, because they have a different personality, and it's just they don't connect with people through that particular way, so this is why our testing is so important. Okay, Michala, where can we find you? And if somebody wanted to follow you, how can
there's my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/woodforthetreescoaching. You can't see the wood for the trees, but work with me and you will be able to. And then we have my website, which again is woodforthetreescoaching.co.uk. Again, if you go on my Wood for the Trees website, there's a really great ebook which is free, and it basically teaches you my solution-focused thinking techniques that allow you to just create a much more high energy, high vibrational mindset, and allow you to think in a different way. So again, if anybody's interested in that, they can get that for free on there and just sign up for it. And then I'm over on Periscope, Instagram, and Twitter as now I have to be careful with this, WFTT Coaching. WFTT Coaching, not WTF.
You just overwhelmed all our listeners and viewers.
Yeah, so many ways.
You're gonna get it right. Watch a replay, rewind, and listen to it. But Michala, thank you so much for joining us. Just to recoup, guys, if you don't forget perfection. Go and test things out, what works for you in alignment with you, and do some planning, do some measuring, but do remember, that you need to just let things happen sometimes without getting overwhelmed. If you feel resistance, try it out anyway. Then if you will feel comfortable with it, which most of the time it happens. That's how all of us, I started the same way. Was afraid of going live, and then now look at me. So it's a little thing. Or you might find maybe it's not your thing, but you are not going to be afraid anymore. You're not going to be overwhelmed, and you will be in a better flow.
Absolutely. And again, just to add, Julia, the last two things I'd just say is, again, really be clear on your vision. So, why you're doing it, what you're doing it for, and please have fun with it. Again, I got really serious about it at one point, and that stopped me doing it, actually. From having done 4 or 5 times a day, I went to doing once a week. So, really have fun with it, enjoy it. Remember why people want to be entertained as well. So having a little bit of fun with what you're doing, when it doesn't have to be daft fun, but just fun your way that shows your personality, that completely lightens the whole thing for you and will allow you, whether that's doing it in cartoon format, whether it's making little videos that, just out of photos or whatever. You don't necessarily have to be visible physically yourself. It's about visibility in general. So, for me, have fun, have a vision, remember who your customer is and why you're doing it for them.
That's brilliant. Brilliant advice, guys. And don't expect clarity straight away. I loved what Michala said. It actually forms as you go. And don't be afraid to change your direction too. Because growing is growing. You can change direction. It's okay. So these things that give you this freedom in your mind, and you're not overwhelmed with this. The word overwhelmed is a horrible feeling. We don't want it. So dance around the room if you feel like this, or just bring your back up. Thank you so much, Michala, for joining me. Thank you guys for watching. This was a Show Up, Stand Out Online Visibility series, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye. Bye.